welcome to this week's edition of the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, and I'm joined once again by Jedi Jason Kruger. If you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Two Marks Wrestling Recap Show. Myself and Jedi, we love talking about pro wrestling. We enjoy talking about, we've been talking about and experiencing pro wrestling together for damn near 15 years at this point. However, we're just two fans. We're just two marks. We're not actually insiders. We try to avoid insider terms because we're not in the wrestling business. We're no better than each and every one of you watching this show, and we encourage you to add your voice to the discussion as well, because despite our love of talking about professional wrestling and viewing professional wrestling and sharing our love with each and every one of you, we are just two marks at the end of the day. And it's the fallout of SummerSlam. There's lots of stuff. Brock Lesnar's not around anymore. I still really don't care. But there's a little thing that's making me care for a different reason. Becky Lynch has gone to the bad side. But it doesn't seem that way. It doesn't really seem that way if you listen to the crowd. It's kind of this weird, bizarro universe with both brands now. And
It's like... I don't know if it's been long enough to do spoilers for that or not. Opinion on that. Star Wars Rogue One.
Oh, go ahead. I don't know.
Okay. It's like at the very last scene when Darth Vader just destroys all the rebels, and you're like, "Yay, Vader!" That's essentially Becky's dark side.
Yeah.
Run.
Where the Miz and Daniel Bryan feud, for my opinion, I will get yours, may be going in somewhat of a unnecessary direction that I'm kind of not really sure of. And then, of course, Joe and AJ continue to tear it up. But enough about that. Let's get to our thoughts on Monday Night Raw. Alright, it's time for Raw thoughts. And the good news is, we'll see the Universal title. The bad news is, they're still dead set on trying to make Roman Reigns a top hero. But perhaps they found the formula to get us to care about Roman Reigns as the top hero that nobody is better than in any part of wrestling, sports, entertainment, anything ever.
Apparently.
Because when Braun Strowman tried to cash in this week, first of all, Finn Balor finally got his shot at the Universal title, and that was. Well, there that was.
The concept was cool.
The execution was like shit.
Well, you know.
Yeah.
The concept was
cool.
It started off good. It's like, well, you can get behind somebody. It's like, hey, you never got your rematch. I'm going to give you that rematch, buddy. You know, it's like, oh, good on you, sir. And then, well.
And then, you're just not worthy of the big dog. Ooh-ah! You know, I criticize a lot of, independent wrestling fans. You know, I consider myself among them, indie fans and New Japan fans. I consider myself right there with them, but I'm critical of that group of fans for always, in some cases, thinking of themselves and not necessarily of the life and what's beneficial to the performer or the wrestler. You know, so many people clamoring for so many people to quit WWE and then go back to Japan or go back to the indies. And from a fan standpoint, fuck yeah.
Well, yeah.
But oftentimes I try to, put myself in the shoes of the individual and go, yeah, that might be good creatively, but they might be pretty happy not having to wrestle a strong style and getting paid probably a lot better. Not everybody can be the Bucks and Cody.
Most people are of the opinion that's why Nakamura went over there.
Yeah.
A good chunk of it is because he was tired of his body being broken down. And
So,
apparently he has more free time working for them.
Apparently.
Which is weird, but hey.
That's a little sidebar there, ironically. But anyway, but there's, I really feel like Finn Balor is just not getting used to his potential in the WWE, and I would love to see him go back to a now white-hot New Japan and be one of its top stars again. Much as I like to see that, I gotta keep, whenever I'm about to make statements like that, I gotta tell myself, hey, he's probably getting paid a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
I'm
sure.
Than he is. But still, it's just like, their handling of Finn Balor just disappoints every time.
Also, apparently, SummerSlam, it's just a tradition to don the demon getup.
Yeah. You can't bring the demon, and again, I say this with no disrespect to the LGBT community, that apparently his entrance and what that represented WrestleMania meant a lot to a lot of people, and that's totally cool. But just from a storyline perspective, you can't bring the demon out for a big Intercontinental Championship match at WrestleMania, but you can bring the demon out for Constable fucking Corbin! The demon's inside, and again, some people say that what happened, at WrestleMania meant more than any sort of storyline, which, I respect that, but it's just kind of those huh? You think one would be the bigger,
Right.
storyline-wise, not real-life-wise. Storyline-wise, one would be a much bigger deal than the other, but apparently it is not.
Well, has he ever been the demon at WrestleMania? I don't think he
That
has.
was his first WrestleMania, because he was hurt.
Right.
He was hurt last year.
I guess
just
because he won the Universal Championship when he was demon at SummerSlam, that's just a SummerSlam tradition now in their minds.
He brought the demon out against AJ.
That's true.
To my credit,
that's true.
To my knowledge on the main roster, the demon has not been defeated. That's
that
part of the
may be
reason
why he didn't bring it out at Mania. He didn't win.
It's just I'm just thinking, thinking out loud here. It's just like, what the hell? If he's never defeated as the demon, bring out the demon. It's WrestleMania. It's fucking that thing.
Trying to get into the head with Mr. Balor. Good luck.
Yes. Oh, Fergal.
What's he thinking behind that smiling face?
But so then WWE played their trump card and reformed the Shield, who helped stop a Braun Strowman cash-in, and for all intents and purposes, the Shield's gonna be the heroes here. Triple powerbombing Braun Strowman, because there's rumors that the Wyatt family are gonna reform. Bray Wyatt's been leaving out cryptic tweets, and his Deleters of World partner is out injured and may have to retire. So I guess they're just thinking, hey, the Wyatt family can't be the heroes. On the flip side, it's just kind of like, hey, yeah, it's kind of shitty, but Braun Strowman is doing something that he earned the right to do by being in a brutal ladder match, and now you're just going to triple team him to keep him. I get it, but at the same time, it's like, nobody's likable here.
Yeah, I don't know. I was on a hiatus from wrestling from about 2009 to about 2016, 17-ish, so I didn't really see the Shield when they first came in. So I don't have this nostalgia factor with them. So I watched the clip and I see these three guys double teaming Strowman, and I'm like, well, they're the villains. They're 3-on-1 this guy, and he didn't really do anything.
And don't get me wrong, the Shield was cool. I like the Shield. I like the Shield a lot. I liked Roman Reigns when he was with the Shield. I
could see that.
Enjoyed everything.
Yeah.
I enjoyed everything about the Shield. But everybody, they split up in 2014, and then when they were getting back 3 years later, and then now 4 years, it's like, everybody has the nostalgia. I get that was probably the biggest stable that we've ever seen.
Apparently.
In recent times. With the Nexus faltering, the Stretch Society kind of faltering, and whatnot. So it was really a good stable. Don't get me wrong, but. People getting that all nostalgic and fuzzy about something that happened 3 years ago, it's just kind of like, oh, okay. Maybe, it's not like a reformed Horseman, or for me, or for a reformed NWO. Even in 2006, even though it didn't pan out well, when DX reformed, to me that was something bigger to get excited about, because it's like, hey, it's been a long time since DX. We've seen DX like this, but it's like, hey, it's been 3 years.
I was gonna say, you said
3-4 years since the Shield, and it's just like, okay, I don't get the nostalgia quite as much with the Shield as I do others. But we'll see what happens. I just don't think, much like Roman Reigns, with what I'm seeing out of them, they should not be heroes. That's just my...
Nothing about it.
Screams
that to me.
In fact, even though he's a dominant person, I feel bad for Braun Strowman, who's just being literally bullied by multiple people saying, you can't do what you've earned the right to do, even though you won that match fair and square. You can't fucking do that shit. Sorry, Braun.
Right. No, sit down. Stop it.
Yeah, it'd be one thing if it'd be one thing if like Braun was a dick.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to get done, but he hasn't. He's just like, hey, I'm doing this. I've earned the right to do this.
Right. Yeah.
If I was doing this to Brock Lesnar, you'd think I'd be awesome, but since I'm doing it to Roman Reigns, it's not.
Right.
It's just, I'm trying not to think poorly of something. If they make the Shield villains, I'm gonna love it.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to shit on something before it even starts. I'm not trying to be that type of guy. I'm just saying, as cool as this can be, I don't see anything heroic in it.
I could very much enjoy a 3-on-1 feud where Braun is just fighting with all three of them.
Right.
They just keep stopping him, and it's frustrating, and he almost gets it. I don't know. I could buy into that, but I don't.
That's just not
faith.
Something that's heroic. And I get, traditional hero and villain molds have been thrown out not even just in wrestling, but just everywhere.
Yeah.
It's just still, it's like, what the fuck? Even in the Attitude Era, Stone Cold Steve Austin, while he wasn't your typical hero...
He was an anti-hero, yeah.
Was still battling people doing much
crucifixions and
much more awful things than what, Braun Strowman was attempting to do.
That were passed out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All much worse than Braun Strowman trying to reap the fruits of the labor of the match that he won back in June.
Yeah. The horrors.
Yeah. But there was another new champion crowned at SummerSlam from the women's division. Ronda Rousey is now
squashed like a bug.
Ronda Rousey is now your Raw Women's Champion, and much like I said a couple weeks ago on this here wrestling recap show, I have mixed feelings.
Same.
On one hand, I like Rousey. Just personally, I like her. She wants to be a wrestler. She wants to be a pro wrestler, and the fact that she wants to be a pro wrestler and use whatever kind of name recognition she has to raise up the art form of pro wrestling is A-okay in my book.
Yeah, nothing against Ronda personally.
And I understand the WWE's desire to go, hey, we got Ronda Rousey. Now, when she's still relevant, don't wait, 3 or 4 years to when people are like, oh yeah, the UFC girl that got beat at the end of her career. Yeah, that chick. Yeah. You don't want to wait for that. Yeah. On the flip side, she's just not really seasoned, polished, whatever you want to call it, enough to, in my opinion, be essentially the top, with the way things, are being portrayed now, the, 1A on the brand, Roman 1, her 1A, the women's champion being treated with, in some cases, equal importance to the male title.
Yeah.
So, she's just not polished enough to do that, You don't have to give her the belt to still get that name recognition. Just, put her in relevant matches on the pay-per-view and people will tune in. And then as she progresses...
Well, they've still got the training wheels on.
I mean, she was... Her match at WrestleMania was really good, but she was protected.
Yeah.
She was protected, and you had essentially when things got slow because you had two people who aren't the best wrestlers, no offense, Stephanie and Ronda, but you had two people that are very good pro wrestlers in Kurt Angle and Triple H to make up for that.
Yeah.
And then we've just gradually seen, in over singles matches, it's like she's not really doing well. And it's not that she can't improve to that level. It's just she's not there yet. And
relying a lot on her aura and not much on like actual in-ring action.
Which, I mean, I guess that's WWE.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
there's nothing wrong with it, but it's just, we were so conditioned to seeing people that perform on such a high level.
Especially in ring, both male and female.
Yeah.
These days.
It's just like, she's not there yet. I mean, I would make the argument that because MMA comparisons are going to be forever, Baszler looks a lot better between the ropes than Rousey does.
But Baylor has gone to NXT.
She also trained in the independent circuit before that. A little bit under. So she's had a lot longer and a lot more chance to get better than Ronda has. So, of course she looks better. But, unfortunately, Ronda has...
I get it, you gotta strike while the iron's hot, and people like us, people like other fans of this program that I know. If I can even call this a program, it's a thing.
Fans? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, all 2 or 3 of them, they're critical of Rousey for whatever reason, and they don't feel like she should be, but I also get that it's a business, and... you put Ronda Rousey still got name
recognition.
Name recognition.
That's right.
Name recognition. New T-shirt.
Yes.
Name recognition. And putting her on those late night talk shows and early morning talk shows with that championship belt, and that's gonna get eyeballs on the product. So
hey, to everybody out there,
you could say they're sacrificing art for money, but.
It's not David Arquette.
It's not David Arquette. No.
The Bar.
Well, the Bar's up here because they're a fantastic team. But they're on SmackDown. Speaking of which, it's now time to get started. SmackDown Thoughts. All right, it is time for our SmackDown Thoughts. And
the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the mall. Today, not the mall, though. Shout out to the No Mercy and Fun with Ahmed fans. Today, with SmackDown, it's not the mall. Anyway, I'm going to start off with, first of all, Miz and Bryan.
That's fair.
I thought that match was almost about for like a chapter 1 perfectly done at SummerSlam. Bryan needed to lose. Or really, Bryan needed to lose. Miz needed to win, but he needed to win in a cowardly manner.
Of course. Nothing else would have made sense.
But I'm the kind of... to keep up with the whole... Because the whole feud, this whole storyline, was based off of... Bryan says that Miz is a coward, and the Miz feels that he isn't. But the Miz still shows cowardice. That's just his character. So that match was good. Them continuing and throwing in their wives for a mixed tag match, to me, is just unnecessary. And look, I get reality TV sells once again. Like, we know there's money, like we discussed a few minutes ago with Ronda. But it's just like, you're taking what could be a good storyline and then just being like, oh, hey, let's just put marketing all around. Which,
well,
I again tell myself they're in the business of making fucking money, so shut up. But
devil's advocate, they're not far enough along to have a Hell in a Cell match at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. Totally separate issue.
Well, I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that the Miz should just be like, I won. Okay, thanks, bye. Nope, I'm better than you, Daniel. Like, come on, give me a rematch. I beat you. I proved I'm better than you. What the fuck's talking about? You don't just get a rematch. I'm better than you. I won. Ha 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 ha. And then build it to when Bryan finally gets his hands on the Miz to avenge a cheap loss.
Right.
And then, I'd say, once again, WrestleMania, you can put the title on the line. You can do without the title. And then the Miz... Eventually, the hero and Bryan trumps with the Miz, but, the Miz could actually show that he's not a coward and actually wrestle well, and then it could be like, okay, I admit you're not a coward, and then maybe they'll always hate each other, they'll never like each other, but maybe they'll finally have, Miz will have earned Bryan's respect, and...
On the other hand, we just saw AJ Styles and Shinsuke Nakamura for months on end. It just kind of happened, so...
Yeah. That's just... WWE... I guess, I've gotten so into New Japan over the last year, and their long, sometimes 2, 3, 4-year storylines.
Different
and
culture.
Well, different culture, but
but WWE is in the
WWE
Netflix instant mindset of everything has to be now.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, like they did long term. I mean, essentially, they had a running storyline for years with Michaels and Undertaker, and then eventually Michaels and Triple H. All the same story for years and years, and then they take breaks and go do something else, and then revisit it.
That was kind of a different era, though.
Yeah, it's like that just proves how much things have changed in just 6 years.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean,
the only long-term thing they've done recently is Roman Reigns, and we saw that's been...
You give you long-term, it's just not the shit you want, but you're going to want it because I say you want it. You're going to love him, he's huge!
On the other hand, with getting especially Brie Bella involved, I imagine part of that is because, the Bellas are going to be involved in Evolution.
Yeah.
So I could see where... to their credit, they might want to ease her back in to that.
Right.
If she's going to look decent at all. Having just had a child, 6 months ago? 8 months ago?
Yeah.
I don't know. Within the last year. I mean...
like, the person that went to college for business and marketing gets all of it. Mm-hmm. But the person who... Yeah. The consumer that wants to see good stories. Going back to, like, what I said at the beginning of the episode with, like, Finn Balor and... I'd love to see all these guys go to New Japan and Ring of Honor and PWG and, Progress and all these different, promotions that are just great right now. Mm-hmm. But you get why they stay with the corporate machine because they're going to get a lot more. I get WWE's side of things, but I'm thinking they've proven they could still do it. They're proving on fucking their developmental program that they can still do long-term storytelling.
Man.
And again, I'm not trying to knock, this may end up making sense in the long run, but just
doesn't look all that promising right now.
No. You might disagree, but I'm it takes a lot to make me look at, Daniel Bryan, a man who I consider behind Shawn Michaels and on par with The Rock as my, favorite wrestler of all time, for me to go, I don't want to really care about this now, or I'm not really looking forward to this. Mm-hmm. It takes a lot, and they're getting there. They're getting there.
Speaking of, storylines that look like they might be going off the rails, so to speak. Right before and at SummerSlam, I was very concerned about the Samoa Joe AJ Styles feud for the WWE Championship because of the whole AJ's family thing, especially when it showed they were actually out there in the audience, and I was like, oh no.
Oh, swerve, bro!
I will say that... in my opinion, with what happened at SummerSlam and what they did on SmackDown this week, they actually are riding that fine line just perfectly to where it's working instead of going into awkward territory and rogue territory. And I'm very happy about this. So, Joe is doing a good job of playing.
Oh, he's excellent.
A psychotic, violent villain.
Both guys are really, and you wouldn't think you'd say this about, their mic work. Maybe a little bit more than Joe than AJ, but you never say it's about their mic work. Both guys are really doing a damn fine job.
This week, I thought Styles did an even better job than before, in my opinion. And
so, AJ is really, he's never going to be The Rock, or he's never going to be Stone Cold Steve Austin on the mic, but he's proving that,
Oh, he's... Yeah,
he's definitely not.
It's not old 2006 Styles where it's like,
hey everybody, I want to be X Division champion.
It's like just go.
And I play video games too, and it's really fun. Winning titles are fun, like video games. They're also fun. How much longer?
Yeah, right.
It's funny you mentioned that. I went back and watched my Global Impact DVD. It was the TNA versus New Japan portion of Wrestle Kingdom 2. Mm-hmm. And they had like the post match press conference. Mm-hmm. And it was a 6-man tag match. It was really cool. It was Christian, AJ, and Petey Williams versus Fergal Devitt, Finn Balor, Minoru, not Minoru Suzuki, just Minoru, and Milano Collection 18. It was just a really fun, cool 6-man opener, and then they go and all three guys are doing their press conference, and then, Christian, being the best talker out of three of them, is doing most of the talking. Yeah. And then at the very end of it, Chris Cafe He's like, AJ, anything you want to add? And you see, AJ just being you can tell he's pulling. I was like, you just saw what TNA can do out there. It's really, really bad. You can tell, he didn't expect to talk.
That sounds like a thing Christian would do.
Here you go, AJ. You're going to talk. Damn it! AJ doesn't really swear very much. But still, from that 10 years ago to AJ now.
Yeah. Giant
yeah. There. But, we talked about, heroes, but why are they heroes, during our Raw portion of this. Mm-hmm. Now we have a we have a hero that everybody boos. Now we have a villain that everybody cheers. Or should I say villainess? Sure. Becky Lynch. Everything she was saying, it didn't matter what horrible thing she said, because people just sympathized because she was so justified in all of her actions. They cheered everything she was doing in her segment to where she explained why she turned on Charlotte at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. And it's just I can't say I blame the fans, because everything, from the storyline perspective, everything she was saying was true.
Yeah.
She had a reason, she's not, you could say it's sour grapes, but there's a reason for the sour grapes. She got fucked.
Literally no one had to even talk, and the story told itself physically through.
Yeah.
If you've been watching, it made sense. I mean, why she was so upset. But of course, she's supposed to be the bad guy, so she attempted to tell the fans that they didn't support her and stuff. It's sure, okay. Whatever you say, dude.
Boo for that. It's just no boos. And it's became a pretty good meme in the internet wrestling community. Yes, so go check out some Becky Lynch villain memes. But just I kind of wonder if they can, because if the reactions continue, can the WWE catch themselves and be like, all right, let's have Charlotte do something, because people can boo Charlotte. Oh, yeah. Let's have Charlotte do something and make her bad, and then kind of be able to circle Becky back around. I don't think they will, but if it's...
They could do it.
Could they manage to do that if they needed to? Something that they've refused to do with Roman Reigns.
Yes, they could. And they know how. The question is, will they? I know they could do it. I could come up with ideas on how.
And who knows, maybe 2-3 weeks' time we could be sitting here going well, look at what Becky did, man. She's really not good. They finally got the fans. We don't know yet.
Right.
But this first week, Becky's got mad support because she deserved she deserves that fucking support.
Right.
Gee, she got screwed. That was her fucking match.
Kind of interested to see what they're going to do next week with Carmella getting her one-on-one rematch against Charlotte. And how that's going to
I think Becky's going to fuck some shit up.
It'd be kind of interesting if she cost the title back to Carmella.
She's going to fuck a lot of shit up.
Those two just went at it.
Yeah.
Then who would Carmella fight?
The only thing about that whole segment I didn't like, when Paige sent essentially the entire women's division out to separate them, there's Asuka's just fodder to. Yeah. That's all Asuka is now. She just goes and separates the fights.
She hangs out with Naomi, Who? Yeah.
Makes me sad. It hurts my soul.
Lana gets more screen time.
I'm okay with that a little bit, just because of Rusev, but still, it's just kind of Asuka's the background player separating the fight now. The mighty Empress of Tomorrow is reduced to this. What is gonna happen to Ciampa and Gargano and the Undisputed Era on the main roster? I might have just made myself sad.
I guess as a distracted side note, Rusev Day is still not imploded. Yet. I mean,
we don't want... No!
I foresaw that happening at SummerSlam, if not before, and they're still
kicking it.
Yeah, things are...
Keep
they're
the
kind
day,
of on the upswing
keep Rusev
at the
Day
moment,
alive.
so.
Yeah, New Day tag team champions after SmackDown.
Yeah, Rowan got injured.
Which also goes back to on Raw. Maybe they'll put Harper back, to do Wyatt's and the Shield again.
Might as well.
Who knows?
At this point.
Yeah, we had something to talk about this week. Like a couple weeks ago, where we had to freestyle on your episode because there's nothing now. But
it was slow.
I hate to be a downer on certain things because they could surprise me.
It's like chapter 1 after SummerSlam, so I mean,
but I'm just not after chapter 1. I'm not feeling it, or I'm maybe not feeling it. Yeah, that's the wrong choice.
Chapter 1's confusing.
I don't know if I'm gonna like this.
It's like when you start
that's the nicer way,
and you're like, I don't know if I like this or not.
Yeah.
So you keep eating it a little longer.
Like me on the day of my comic shop adventure, trying shawarma for the first time. That was me and my shawarma adventure. I did not record the shawarma adventure. I did record the comic shop adventure. And on that note, if you'd like to, check out some other content, please like the comic shop adventure. We have not just wrestling content, but we have content from all around geek culture. Gaming, comics, anime, all sorts of stuff. If you enjoyed this video and like to see others like that, please give us a like, share, subscribe, and check out some old videos. For more content, go visit my Facebook page at facebook.com/athleticgeek89. Jedi does not have social media because he's got kids and doesn't have time for that. But you can find him here. If you leave a comment on here, I'm sure Jedi will see it. If you want to, tell him, hey, Jedi, I think you're much better than that stupid asshole that's right next to you. And he'll be like, damn Skippy. And we'll just go from there. But for Jedi, Jason Kruger, I'm the Athletic Geek. We are just two marks. We're out. Later.